Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be reviewing What Happened to Mr. Cha. So as you might have guessed from the title, the movie is based on a man named Mr. Cha, and people are wondering what's happened to him. Specifically, the man is named Cha in-pyo, and that's actually the name of the actor who plays the role. So the movie is kind of self-referential and autobiographical in that regard. He's an actor in the movie in the same way that he's an actor in real life, but unlike in real life, he sees himself as washed up, he's not the same person he used to be, he's now starring more in TV commercials and magazine print ads as opposed to the movies and TV shows that he was famous for whenever he was in his heyday. In fact, he was actually famous for a signature gesture with this little finger wag that he does, and they reference that quite a bit in the film itself. The movie kind of shows him at a sort of turning point in his life where he's starting to get increasingly frustrated with the gigs that he's getting, and he wants to return back to his glory days, and he's constantly seeking a role in this movie that he's hoping to get booked in, and he's always talking to people about it, he's always bugging his manager about it, he's always trying to hang on to his glory days, he's always trying to find a way back into the limelight. Through a series of unfortunate events, he ends up getting dirty while taking his dog Twinkle out for a walk, which I just think is funny, the fact that he named his dog Twinkle. And he goes to take a shower in this, I guess, bathhouse in the middle of nowhere when he's taking that dog out on a walk. And as he's taking a shower, the building that he's in ends up getting demolished, and then he ends up getting trapped in that building under all the rebar and concrete and all that other stuff. And he has to sort of grapple with sort of his concept on what his life means at that point and what fame means to him. So there's a lot of reference to celebrity culture in Korea, and I'm not 100% familiar with how the celebrity culture is in Korea necessarily. I am aware that there's a lot of pressure that's put on, for example, K-pop stars. We always hear about bad things happening to K-pop stars all the time, whether it's cyberbullying or suicide, it's always really dark, nasty things. I imagine a lot of the same things happen to actors whenever their personal lives are under such scrutiny that they end up getting lambasted by their fans whenever they see something on screen that doesn't match with what they're seeing in reality. I don't know, I just think celebrity culture in Korea seems very different from America. In America, we do tend to idolize our celebrities here quite a bit, but I imagine it's almost 10 times as worse in Korea, just based on the stories that we hear about all the idols over there, all the actors and the struggles that they go through in their personal and professional lives. Imagine being washed up and then ending up in a situation where you get torn apart on social media for some random thing that you had no control over. I don't know, maybe I'm ranting a bit in this review, but I like how they sort of delve into Cha in-pyo's psyche, this idea of saving face and trying to make sure that you're this big, strong actor, that you can do anything, and he tries to maintain that image throughout the movie, but he also has to come to grips that at the end of the day, he's a human being and he has needs and wants like everyone else. Just because you're a celebrity, it doesn't mean that you're infallible. Now that being said, while I do like the aspect of celebrity culture and how it's explored throughout this film, I can't say that I'm 100% a fan of the comedy. The vast majority of the movie stays in one place, and that's when Cha is trapped under the building with his dog, which, by the way, the dog doesn't really appear until like the last half of the movie after we initially see it in the beginning. Throughout this whole time, Cha is trapped under the building, and it goes on for like an hour and a half or something like that. At least it felt like an hour and a half to me. It just felt so long. It felt like such a long period of time to be trapped under one building. I get that the metaphor behind it is this idea that your life is in shambles, it's just been demolished, it's been torn apart, you're not the same as you used to be, and the building is used in that way to kind of show that Cha is washed up. Even the washed up metaphor you can use whenever he's in the shower and he's getting cleaned up, he's trying to bring himself back to what he used to be. But some of the gags in this movie just drag on way too long, and part of the reason is because Cha is trapped under that building for way too long, which I really don't like. I would have preferred if they mixed it up with different scenes here and there rather than staying in mostly in one place for the rest of the film. Of course, Cha isn't the only character in the film. He also has his manager Aram who's looking after him, who's kind of trying to placate him and try to keep Cha's mental state, if you will, in order, while also trying to help him save face. But he gradually loses patience with him over the course of the film, as he basically just wants him to get out of the building and make sure he can get back to work as soon as possible. Most of the comedy gags in this movie center around Aram and trying to prevent these construction workers from getting rid of the rubble so that they can proceed with whatever construction project they have planned. After about half an hour or so of these gags, it's like, come on guys, like you can move on with this. There should be more sources of comedy than trying to prevent a couple guys from revealing a person who's trapped under a construction site. Which, by the way, isn't even realistic. Like, if you're trapped under that rubble for several days like it's depicted in the movie, don't you think that Cha would at least get a little bit hungry or thirsty, or his phone would run out of battery at some point? I mean, there's so many questions that go unanswered, all just because we're supposed to see him as rebuilding his life while he's trapped under a pile of rubble. I'm sorry, but if I were trapped under a pile of rubble, the last thing I would be thinking of is whether or not I would get famous on camera. If I were trapped under all that stuff, I'd be like, get me out of here now! Now! So that sort of thing really infuriated me, and I wish that it didn't drag on as long as it did in that respect. I also wasn't really a fan of the ending, but I won't spoil it for people who are interested in watching this movie potentially. If you're into Korean movies in general and you like comedies, I would probably recommend seeing something else. On the other hand, there are gags in the movie that do land really well. For example, there's a gag with dog poop in it that is just hilarious. I can't spoil it, but it's probably one of the few funny jokes that got me laughing in the movie. Also, if you want to find a movie that kind of delves into the psyche of celebrity culture and how it's interpreted from Korean standards, then you might get something out of this movie. But other than that, I could have done without watching this movie. I think there are probably many other better movies to come this year as far as Korean cinema is concerned. I don't know, I've not watched much in the way of K-dramas or anything like that, but I am looking forward to watching more of them, assuming that they do get released on Netflix. So yeah, that kind of summarizes my opinion on what happened to Mr. Cha. It's okay, you can do without it, but it's not that bad either if you do choose to watch it. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, stay tuned for the next part in which I review the critically acclaimed drama, Pieces of a Woman. Bye-bye.